Today I want to share with you what I wished I had known that took me years to figure out. And we're talking about the word evil and a description of someone's behavior, and it oftentimes is connected to narcissistic personality disorder, psychopaths, sociopaths, that they're evil. And what I have come to terms with or understanding was very helpful to me on my journey of discovering what that looks like, why I didn't see it. These are some of the questions I know you may be asking yourself. How do they not care about anybody? They don't care about their kids. They don't care about the earth. They don't care about anything. It's really hard to wrap your head around, especially if you are an empath, intuitive. How did I not see it? So if some of those questions are questions you're going through, my hope is that this video is helpful to you. So let me get started. For me, was the aha awakening when I saw the word evil is actually spelt live backwards. So L-I-V-E is live, and evil is the exact opposite, E-V-I-L. And in looking at that and examining it, I started thinking about what it means to live. It's about watching something flourish, giving it what it needs, and allowing it to grow, to evolve. And when it comes, sorry for the itch, for someone who is evil, it's the exact opposite. It is about killing its essence, not giving it what it needs, and not supporting it and not wanting it to grow. It perfectly described and summed up everything in my mind as to what I was dealing with. And the word evil goes to the core of how awful and terrible it is, but it doesn't really help us to recognize what is evil. It tends to be this image of, hiding in the dark, ghosts and monsters and things that we're taught when we're growing up. But really, it's about not allowing dysfunction to get close to us, to be able to portray acts that are harmful to us. That is what evil people do. They are about taking advantage of the opportunity. So if you look at an empath and someone who is in tune, how do they not see it, recognize it? We pick up on other people's vibes. One really important thing I recognized is that there's sort of a lack of emotion that seems calming. When we're picking up a lot of vibe from other people, someone who is evil, operating from the opposite of what we operate from, they are seemingly calm, which in turn for someone who's intuitive feels calm, because there's not a lot of angst going on in the beginning, especially. It seems they're calm, cool, and collected, which we're not having to pick up on someone else's stuff. But to me, that's a huge warning sign now. I recognize. So let's go back to the word live and evil. So someone who's empathic and compassionate is someone who is looking to spread more of what is at our core. We're looking for happiness, joy, to spread awareness, and to help others to evolve on their own path, rooting for people, supporting. That's where we operate from. Like, our guiding force of what we look for around us are things that match who we are. The person who on the other side, who, for lack of a better term, evil, is actually looking to support the opposite. They find pleasure in pain. So they're the complete opposites. So someone who is an empath over here on this side is wanting to create more pleasure and goodness and kindness out in the world. And we don't need attention. We don't need accolades. We don't need to be labeled as anything wonderful. We just want, it's about the act of doing. So we can hold it in and feel really good about the fact that we did something. On the other hand, someone who's evil will do kind things. How many times have you seen something on the news and they were a philanthropist and they were doing things that were big and huge and it seemed wonderful, but it's the intent that was behind it. They do it, but they need the attention. They need the accolades. They need to be looked upon as something they are not. The reason they do it is different. We do it for the good feeling that it gives us at our core. They do it because it's going to give them more of their ability to control and to manipulate. They hide behind the acts. They don't feel good about the acts that they do. They feel good about tricking you into thinking they're something they're not. That allows them, once they're in the door, they have to do the goodness to get in the door. They can't get into your heart, into your soul, if they don't do those things. If they came out and were out in the open about doing the things they do, people would run. They wouldn't have that ability. So they need to hide it. And if you are with a nice narcissist, or what they call a covert narcissist that's interchanged, you're going to see even more of it hidden underneath kind acts. So we're taught that there's evil and there's good, and people have good and evil and all this type of stuff. But really, people who can do the most damage, they are going to show you good. They're going to show you they're kind. They're going to have a great reputation. They're going to do all those things. So how do you see it? How do you know it? So I say, first of all, it's the awareness to understand that someone who comes from a place of evil is going to operate in both realms. They need the good act to get to the evil side. And so it's not going to match. It's going to be dysfunctional. There is a thought process, right, that we have a choice of doing good or doing right or wrong. But at the core, that's what I'm talking about. You're trying to line up. You may falter, make mistakes, your emotions get ahead of you and whatever, and you do things that you're not necessarily proud of. But at your core, that is your regulation. That is your guide. That's what's telling you what you should be doing based on that. For them, they see us as stupid because the rules don't apply to them. In their world, they make up the rules and they don't care who they hurt because they enjoy the pain. That's part of their pleasure. It's backwards, just like the word being spelled live and evil being backwards, how they see the world, what their expectations are, what they're trying to achieve is the opposite. So they are about destroying things. They are about dysfunction. They are about keeping things in check so they're always pleased with themselves, that they're getting satisfaction, that they took you down a notch. So, the gossiping is one sign. You've got signs that they're enjoying something or they're not validating and they're invalidating you. All of those things or trying to tell you that your gut was wrong. Those are all things that are manipulating and showing signs that there's dysfunction, whether they're full-blown narcissist or psychopath, sociopath, whatever it might be. It doesn't matter if the dysfunction is so dysfunctional that it is affecting you. So some of the misnomers that we experience is thinking that we see goodness in someone, that means they're a good person. We think that things, the person would be mean to us from the get-go. Some people are just mean. Other people are operating from a core of living backwards or evil, and being able to recognize that so we don't keep them in our inner circle. Because the closer they get to us, the more damage they can do. And they're looking for people who can only see the good in them, which is an empath. Empaths like to see the good in everything. But unfortunately, we have to be truth seekers, and we have to be open to understanding that it exists out there, that people who are dysfunctional create dysfunction in their lives. Misery likes company, and they want everyone more unhappy than they are. But they're in denial they're unhappy. They just want to keep bringing everyone down. It's like a foundation that's cracked at the very core of the house. It needs to be demolished. There's no fixing this person. This person is just broken. There is no patching things up. So we didn't get the memo that, love does not fix it, that changing our belief system, treating them nicer, that we, need to give it our all. They will destroy us when we do that. We've learned that has not worked, and it will never work. So we need to let go and to protect ourselves from further abuse. I hope this clarifies the thought process of what you were dealing with, and that it can't change. It won't change. They don't want to change. They like how they are. They think that we're stupid to be vulnerable. They're incapable of being vulnerable. Whether this was because of nurturing or it was nature, that they were born this way, I don't know. And at this point, I'm tipping it that it's probably a combination of both, but it doesn't really matter. What does matter is that we protect ourselves and we understand that this needs to be a pattern that breaks. And I'm helping other people get out of the cycle and to find their own gut intuition, to recognize it. Because I know that when I met my last one, I did get an inclination very quickly that this person was creepy. And I let my guard down and thought, no, that was a first impression that was really fleeting. I look back and my intuition was right on. I second guessed myself because everybody else thought this person was wonderful. Everyone else thought this was the kindest person ever, and they were not. And so I've now learned to strengthen my intuition and not let my past experience of being gaslit and manipulated not to believe in my intuition. My mind, body, heart, and soul is there to protect me. It wants me to survive. It wants me to thrive. Evil does not want that. It wants to squash your ability to recognize what it is trying to accomplish. Its intention wants to be hidden. And so I'm here to help you to unarm your abusers now and in the future. Please help me to share the information. It's important that we stop further abuse from happening. If I had known then what I know now, it wouldn't have taken me years to figure it out. Thank you for helping me to stop abuse in the future.